A very good evening to you and welcome to Primetime News on MTV Sports, live from the News First studios in Colombo. I am Nadim Majid.
And I'm Krishna Panditaratna. Protesters in Brazil have continued to clash with police even after authorities in two of the biggest cities rolled back the transit fare hikes that triggered 2 weeks of nationwide protests. More details to follow. Let's start off with a look at the headlines.
Making headlines this evening, technology stream subjects introduced to the advanced level curriculum. Trade unions charge that electricity generation at the Victoria and Kukuleganga power plants are not at capacity despite reservoirs reaching spill level. Minister Kehelia Ramakwela says that the 13th Amendment to the Constitution would be amended with boundaries being added to it. Fishermen charge that they have not received the fuel subsidy due to them for the past 3 months.
Introducing technology stream subjects for the advanced level curriculum, President Mahinda Rajapaksa said that the children of the country are not separated as skilled and unskilled.
The technology stream subjects were introduced to the GCE advanced level curriculum at an event held at Temple Trees this morning.
අද වෙනකොට මේ තාක්ෂණ විෂය ධාරාව හඳුන්වා දීමේ කටයුත්ත ජාත්‍යන්තරයේ පැසසුමටත් ලක් වෙලා තියෙනවා.
Today, even internationally, the introduction of the technology stream has been appreciated. The Asian Development Bank has now allocated funds for this, saying that it should have been done 20 years ago. This will turn hundreds of thousands of students who have thus far failed into students who pass. I think you will be able to send a message to those who say every day that this country is a failed state. A feeling will be created that this country is a successful state. There are no skilled and unskilled children. Thereby, we are bound to bring up all children as children who are beneficial to the nation.
එනිසා අපි ඔබ හැමෝම වැඩදායි දරුවන් හැටියට ජාතිය වෙනුවෙන් ගොඩ නගන්න අපි බෑ.
On tonight's Words of Wisdom segment, we take a look at the words of the French military and political leader Napoleon Bonaparte.
Show me a family of readers, and I will show you the people who will move the world. Napoleon Bonaparte.
Trade unions charge that electricity generation at the Victoria and Kukuleganga power plants are not at capacity even though the reservoirs have reached spill level. The unions question as to whether this is the result of a transaction between the officials of the Ceylon Electricity Board and the owners of the thermal power plants.
The Victoria Hydro Power Plant is one of the most prominent power plants in the country and is a great asset to the electricity grid. The power plant adds 210 megawatts to the national grid on a daily basis with its 3 turbines, which have a capacity of 70 megawatts each. A senior official of the Ceylon Electricity Board said that the spill gates of the Victoria Reservoir have been opened as the reservoir has reached a maximum capacity. However, one turbine at the Victoria power plant has been decommissioned for annual maintenance. However, trade unions allege that all 3 turbines are not functioning. Meanwhile, the spill gates of the Kukuleganga Reservoir were also open last night. The Kukuleganga power plant, which is fed by the reservoir, contributes 70 megawatts to the national grid daily, with the use of 2 turbines which have a capacity of 35 megawatts each. However, these 2 turbines too have been decommissioned for emergency maintenance. Trade unions charge that the decommissioning of turbines at a time when reservoirs are at spill level is causing major losses. The people of this country have no relief whether it rains or shines. The government will not provide relief. They have placed a massive electricity bill on the shoulders of the people. When the people protested against this electricity bill, the government told them a story about how they would remove the fuel adjustment charge when the rains come in October. So now we are asking them, where is this relief? There are 3 machines at Victoria, and we put one of them in for normal maintenance every year. We do this after carefully planning it. We did not expect this because it usually does not rain in June. I think it may be because I came here as acting general manager that it suddenly started to rain. Usually it never rains in June. If we had known earlier that it was going to rain, we would have done this at a later date. Authorities at the Ceylon Electricity Board have not made a responsible statement regarding this. They are not saying what has happened to these power plants and why. The owners of thermal power plants are happy because their bags are heavier. There was a major breakdown at Kukuleganga. It will take a long time to repair this. As soon as this happened, we brought down experts from Japan. They removed it, inspected it, and have said that it will take about 3 or 4 months to repair. Since this failed, we stopped the other machines as well. I think the loss at Kukuleganga will run into the hundreds of thousands. There is no such problem at Victoria, 2 machines operating. Sometimes we may have to stop one of the machines. At night we operate 2 of the 3 machines. We asked the authorities in the government immediately to look into why hydropower plants are gradually halting operations at a time when reservoirs have reached spill level and are overflowing. Recently, the Upper Kotmale reservoir was emptied during the rainy season to remove silt. So with each of these dramas taking place, is it justifiable for the people to level allegations at the electricity board?
මේ රටේ ජනතාව යම් ආකාරයක චෝදනාවක් විජිබලමලට එල්ල කරනවා ඒ පොඩි සාධාරණත්වයක් තියෙනවා
මේ වෙනකොට අපි සියලුම තාප බලාගාර
At present we have stopped taking power from all power plants. It is only the hydro power plants and Nohotchole that are running. 70 megawatts are coming from Victoria and 75 from Kukuleganga. We cannot put in 145 megawatts to the national grid at this time. So someone could argue that the water that is being released is going to waste. But this is a unique instance. This does not happen all the time.
මේකෙන් වැඩක් ගන්න නැහැ කියලා ඉතින්. මේ වගේ අවස්ථාවක් සුවිශේෂී අවස්ථාවක් හැමදාම වෙන දෙයක් නෙමෙයි.
Now, before we move on to more headline-making stories, we will be keeping you updated on the current status of the second semi-final of the ICC Champions Trophy between India and Sri Lanka, which is currently underway at Cardiff in Wales. Well, I've just been informed that a short while ago, India were on 77 runs for the loss of 1 wicket. India, of course, need 104 runs to win of 33 overs. Moving on to more headline-making news, speaking at the media briefing on cabinet decisions today, cabinet spokesperson Minister Kehelia Rambukwella said that the 13th Amendment to the Constitution would be amended with boundaries being added to it.
ආණ්ඩුවේ ස්ථාවරය තමයි ඒ සම්බන්ධව සංශෝධන ඇති විය යුතුයි කියලා. ඒ තිබෙන වගන්ති වලින් යම් දේවල් ඉවත් විය යුතුයි කියලා.
It is the stance of the government that there must be amendments and that certain things must be removed. Why can't something be taken away from the 13th Amendment? Some things could be added as well. I have said on a prior occasion as well that the 13th Amendment to the Constitution came about without inquiring into the people's will. If there are some things in this amendment which are harmful to the future journey of the country, then the government and the people have a right to act. We are clearly looking at redefining the boundaries and we have turned our attention towards this.
නැවත සීමාවන් නිර්මාණය කිරීම ගැන අපි බලාපොරොත්තු වෙලා ඒ ගැන අවධානය යොමු කරා. ඒකකයේ සහ ඒකකයේ පිළිවෙල කර තැන් වල පුළුල් කරන්න කුඩා කර තැන් කුඩා කරන්න.
Journalists also raised questions regarding statements made by MP Arundika Fernando on the disappearance of journalist Pragit Teknaligoda.
නෑ මම හිතන්නේ දැන් ඒක උසාවියේ තියෙන හින්දා කතා කිරීම තමයි. මොකද ඒක හරියන්නේ නැහැ අගතියක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. නැත්නම් උගක් කරලා තියෙනවා. නැතුව නෙමෙයි. නමුත් අගතියක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. සාක්ෂි කරුවා. මොකද එකඟ වෙන්නේ නැහැ තුමා. නෑ එකඟ වෙන්නේ දැන් නෑ ඔබතුමා කියපු එකට මම එකඟ වෙන්නේ නැහැ.
I do not agree with what you say. He was not belittled. He had the strength to go to a place where he would be surrounded and attacked. Secondly, he was the one who provided the telephone number. The person that he spoke to rejected this. He had told him not to give the telephone number to anybody. He did not have the strength to say the truth. One side is saying that he said it, while the other is belittled.
ඇත්ත කියන්නේ ඒක. නැත්නම් අපි දන්නේ නැහැ කාගේද කියලා එකක් පැත්තෙන් කියනවා. කීවයි කියන අනිත් පැත්තෙන් නැහැ කියන. එතකොට ඒක ශූන්‍ය වුණායි කියන එක මම පිළිගන්නේ නැහැ.
A delegation of the Tamil National Alliance that is currently visiting India has met with India's Finance Minister P. Chidambaram. Parliamentarian Selvam Adey Kalananthan said that they met with the Finance Minister last evening following meetings with Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh and India's National Security Advisor.
The 13th Amendment is not a solution. We see it as the basis for a solution. We spoke with Indian representatives regarding the manner in which the government is acting to destroy the 13th Amendment and invalidate its powers and the injustices that our people are facing. We spoke about militarization, resettlement and the problems that are being faced by farmers and fishermen who are unable to till their lands or work on the beaches. We also pointed out that a situation has arisen where the people are unable to live on their own lands. The The Indian Prime Minister promised us that the Indian people and the central government will not leave the Tamil people to despair.
இந்திய அரசாங்கம் ஒருவரும் கைவிடாது என்ற உறுதியாக நான் சொல்லுகிறேன் என்று எங்களிடம் உறுதியளித்தார்.
Before moving on to more local news, let's take a quick look at the newspaper cartoon of the day.
Fishermen charge that they have not received the fuel subsidy due to them for the past 3 months and therefore they are faced with numerous difficulties.
Fishermen in several parts of the island have refrained from setting out to sea as usual due to the inclement weather.
We will take a look at that story later on in the news bulletin.
Farmers complain about delays in pension payments. Promises made by politicians on strengthening the farmers' pension scheme. Deputy Minister of Finance Dr. Sarath Amunugama states that the farmers' pension scheme will not be abolished. When will the relevant authorities focus attention on making these payments to the farmers?
A tense situation broke out in Kalpitiya today between a group of persons who had arrived there to mine for sand and another group that had gathered at the location. Now, the group present at the location charged that since sand mining in the area is being carried out without a valid permit, it has given rise to a number of environmental issues.
This unrest broke out in the Kajuwatta area in Mukkutoruwawa, Kalpitiya. Previously, persons in military uniform arrived here and took away sand. If there is a written permit, then show it to us. The Assistant Divisional Secretary of Mundalama arrived at the location and held a discussion with the group. However, the Assistant Divisional Secretary was unable to disperse the crowd. Later, the Mundalama police were called to the location. However, the locals protested against the 2 tipper trucks that had already been filled with sand. Therefore, the sand miners had to unload the sand at the community hall in the area.